Hello, I'm Dilek Tuna. Welcome to Africa News. Let's begin with the headlines this hour. Ebola fears grow in Eastern Congo camp. Nigeria marks Navy anniversary with sea drills. And Ghanaians prepare to leave South Africa as safety is now at the centre of their concerns. Fear is growing at an overcrowded camp in Eastern Congo where health workers are racing to contain Ebola. But without basic supplies, even simple prevention is becoming difficult.
A health awareness campaign is underway at the Kigonzi displaced camp in Bunia, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, as fears grow over the spread of Ebola in the region. Camp officials in Bunia are using megaphones to urge residents to wash their hands with soap or ash and purify drinking water inside the overcrowded Kigonzi camp.
I'm raising awareness about Ebola. It is a very dangerous disease. It kills people quickly. You must wash regularly with soap and ash. You must also purify your water and wash your hands with ash. That is what can protect us.
Overcrowding and shortages of basic supplies are making prevention efforts more difficult.
There are more than 5,000 of us here, but unfortunately, people aren't following the safety measures. They aren't wearing face masks or taking any other protective measures. It's really difficult.
Displaced residents are also appealing for urgent assistance as fears over the outbreak continue to rise.
We don't even have anything to wash our hands with, or soap to protect us from disease. We are appealing to the authorities for help. We are in the midst of an epidemic, but we don't even have soap. If we don't get help, we're all going to die here.
The campaign has also expanded to schools inside the camp, where teachers say they are struggling to protect children without basic protective equipment.
If it has to happen, it will happen at my place. For example, the children don't even have face masks. So there's no other way around it. We just endure it. That's the problem.
Aid workers warn that overcrowded camps and limited access to hygiene supplies could accelerate the spread of the virus unless more support reaches affected communities.
The resurgence of Ebola in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has placed renewed focus on hygiene practices in Bukavu. Local artisans and traders say demand for hand-washing stations has risen sharply, with the equipment increasingly used in both homes and public spaces. Health experts, however, stress that while hygiene is essential, it's not sufficient on its own to contain the spread of Ebola.
The resurgence of Ebola in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has increased demand for locally made hand-washing stations in Bukavu. Local producers say orders from NGOs, businesses and residents have risen significantly since the latest outbreak began. In welding workshops across the city, artisans are building metal frames, fitting taps onto plastic containers and producing hand-washing units for markets, schools, homes and public spaces. The rise in demand comes as the World Health Organization reported more than 900 suspected Ebola cases and over 170 deaths in Congo and Uganda. According to health authorities, the outbreak involves the rare Bundibugyo strain, which currently has no approved vaccine and has spread from Ituri province into North and South Kivu, including Bukavu.
There's a basin, a metal stand, and a small basin connected to a tap. We're making these to help protect people against Ebola. Everyone should have one to wash their hands. Every time you leave the toilet or come home, you wash your hands. That's what these hand-washing stations are for. We were already selling them for household hygiene. Then the Ebola disease appeared at the time, and that continued before it ended. Then the coronavirus arrived, and we have continued like this until today. The set, including the iron stand, the basin, the small basin and the tap, we sell for $13.
Doctors in Bukavu have welcomed improved hygiene practices, but say hand washing alone is not enough to stop the spread of Ebola.
In Bukavu, hand washing alone is not enough. We also need to raise awareness and educate the population and the community, because in addition to hand washing, we also have the use of hand sanitizer and social distancing. As you can see, there are several measures. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge we have here in Bukavu is the close proximity of people in public transport, at the market and everywhere else.
In Bukavu's markets, residents are using hand washing stations, while health authorities continue to urge the public to follow preventive measures.
Nigeria's Navy is marking 70 years with major drills at sea as it looks to show how far its maritime force has grown. The service says it's expanding its role from coastal security to wider counter-terrorism support.
The Nigerian Navy on Monday, May 25th, demonstrated its operational readiness during naval exercises at sea as it marked its 75th anniversary. During the drills, helicopters carried out maneuvers while personnel performed various tasks aboard warships.
Over the past 70 years, Nigerian Navy has evolved to a more formidable naval force capable of safeguarding our Nigerian maritime space and protecting critical national infrastructure in collaboration with the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and other security agencies. We also do this in partnership with many navies in the world, our strategic partners, the US, the UK, most of the EU navies, Chinese PLA navies, and other navies in the world.
Deep and navigable for our vessels.
If you see what the Navy has achieved now, has placed Nigerian Navy as #1 in Africa in terms of platforms and capability, and 22nd globally. Our special forces has continued to compete and even outcompete other special forces in the world. And Nigerian Navy has also launched the first Nigerian Navy Marines. And this is in response to our challenges upland. So the Nigerian Navy and Marines will contribute to stability of counter-terrorism, counter-insurgency operation in partnership with the Army and the Air Force.
In recent years, the Navy has expanded its operations beyond traditional maritime security missions and has established a Marine Corps to support counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations alongside the Army and Air Force.
Biannually, we do the Grand African Nemo with the French navies, and under the coordinated maritime presence, the EU navies actually bring platforms to the Gulf of Guinea, and the Nigerian Navy actually patrols with this Navy. And the reviews and the responses we have received has placed Nigerian Navy above board as one of the most professional Navy in Africa.
Nigeria also conducts biannual joint exercises with the French Navy and carries out patrols with European Union naval forces in the Gulf of Guinea, a region long affected by piracy and maritime crime.
A stylist in Nigeria's capital is gaining popularity for turning fabric into high fashion looks. He only relies on fabric, pins and creativity rather than sewing machines inspired by traditional African fashion. Here's more.
In Nigeria's capital, Abuja, 26-year-old stylist Precious Mbonu is gaining attention for creating full outfits without using a sewing machine. Instead, he shapes and secures fabric directly onto clients using only pins, cloth, and hand draping techniques. Mbonu says he developed the idea after seeing clients repeatedly disappointed when tailors failed to finish clothes in time for photo shoots. By working directly on the body, he can complete a custom look in under an hour, far quicker than conventional dressmaking.
I know I needed to make extra from what I was doing. So with the way clients has been saying, oh, my tailor disappointed me, I can't do the shoots anymore, I can't book a session anymore and all of that. So it prompted me to ask for more. And when I prayed about it, I felt like God heard me, and I saw my draping in my dream then. So I went to my studio and I tried it out. Since then till now, I've been draping and people have been loving it.
Since launching the business in 2021, he says he has produced more than 200 designs and built a large following online. Because the fabric is pinned instead of sewn, it can be reused for different designs, helping to reduce textile waste. Although some critics on social media have questioned the close-fitting styling process, demand for his work continues to grow.
For many migrant families in South Africa, the decision to leave is no longer just about work or opportunity. After weeks of unrest, safety is now at the centre of whether they stay or go.
Around 300 citizens to return home from South Africa following weeks of anti-immigrant unrest and growing fears over personal safety, Ghanaian authorities say. At Ghana's High Commission in Pretoria, families arrived with suitcases to register for voluntary relocation as concerns mounted over xenophobic attacks and economic disruption. Officials say many Ghanaian nationals no longer feel safe or welcomed in parts of the country.
What's happening here is the screening of Ghanaians who voluntarily wants to relocate to Ghana due to the rather unfortunate xenophobic attacks that have persisted over the last few weeks. Most of them are people who feel that they are not welcomed here in this country anymore. They feel that there are challenges that governments of South Africa should have looked into and solved. But there's nothing like that forthcoming.
Some families say concerns for children and relatives are now shaping difficult decisions about whether to leave.
I'm not worried about that at all. But the thing is, you got kids, we got family here, so it's better you send the kids. If you have a wife, it's better you send the wife. Me as a man, I'm a man, I know how to survive. I can live in the country, I will know how to survive, and I will know how to do my things. But the kids, they are innocent, so it's better you push the kids.
South African authorities have condemned xenophobic violence and say law enforcement agencies are monitoring the situation. Ghana's High Commission says the evacuation process will take place in phases, with priority given to women, children and other vulnerable groups.
That's all we have today on Africa News. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to A News for continued coverage.